Hey everyone, and welcome back to Roadside Coder, and welcome to the 6th video of our MERN Stack Tutorial Series. In today's video, we are going to continue building our node zipper application, and we are going to build our navbar, our footer, and our landing page for our app. And we are going to build them by using a UI library called React Bootstrap. So without any further ado, let's get started. So in our previous video, we initialized a new React app, and as you can see over here, we have that React app in our front-end folder, and we discussed some basics of React.js and overall folder structure for our React app. So today we are going to build our navbar, our footer, and our landing page. So let's get started by creating a new folder for components. And inside of the components folder, I'm going to create a new folder for header and another one for our footer. And inside of both of these folder, I'm going to create two new files. First header.js and other will be footer.js. Alright, great. So I'm gonna put some dummy code inside of it right now. So RAFCE. So you might remember we installed a extension called ES7 React Redux blah 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 blah. So this is the extension that helps us to write RAFCE and the short forms to generate a boilerplate code. So I'm gonna write over here header, and inside the footer also RAFCE, and I'm gonna write footer. Great. So let's export this in our app.js. So I'm gonna remove this hello world from over here and this h1 tag too. Okay, let's open a round brace, and I'm gonna provide it with a React fragment, and inside of that React fragment I'm gonna import our header and footer. So header and footer. So as you can see, both of them are auto imported from the components folder. So let's run our app and see how does that look. So first of all, we need to switch to our front end and npm start. There we go, our header and footer are rendered. So let me create a space between these header and footer. So header is supposed to be at the top and footer is supposed to be at the bottom. So let's go back to our app.js, and I'm going to create a main between them. And let's give it some style of main height 90 report. Alright, great. So our header is at the top and our footer is at the bottom. Okay, so create our header or our navbar, we are going to install something called React Bootstrap. So let's Google what React Bootstrap is. So React Bootstrap. And it says that this is the most popular front-end framework rebuilt for React. So you might have heard about Bootstrap. It's a quite famous UI library when it comes to building our web applications. So this React Bootstrap is completely built on top of that Bootstrap to support React applications. So let's click on get started and see how we can install it. So this is the way we can install it. Npm install React Bootstrap. Similarly to React Bootstrap, we have other UI libraries such as Material UI. So Material UI is one of the other UI libraries as well. But for this tutorial, I'm going to use React Bootstrap. So before we install React Bootstrap, I'm going to show you something else. So just go over here and type bootswatch and press enter. And as you can see, bootswatch, free themes for Bootstrap. So this is the website which provides us with free Bootstrap themes. So you can pick whichever theme you like the most, but for this tutorial, I'm going to pick Lumen. So what do we need to do? We need to go over here, click on this arrow and download this bootstrap.min.css file. Click on it and it will be downloaded. So you can take this bootstrap.min.css file and put it inside of your src folder, right inside of over here. But what I have done is I've modified this file a little bit. So if you go to github.com/piyush-eon and go to repository and go to node zipper. So inside of this repository, inside of the front end, inside of the src, you're gonna find this bootstrap.min.css file, and you just need to download this file. So I've done a few modifications in this file to suit this project, like modifying some tags, some basic tags and some basic colorings, etc. You can just click edit this file and download all of the content that is inside of this file. All of the content, just copy it up and create a new file over here, bootstrap.min.css. If you don't want to do all of this stuff, you can also use the file that you have downloaded from over here, from the boot swatch, this file as well. It's also going to work fine, but I've made a few changes in this file so that it works absolutely fine and you're not going to have any conflict while building this project. So let's close this up. I've pasted all of the code inside of it and let's save this file. And now I'm going to import this bootstrap file inside of our index.js. So as you can see, inside of index.js, we have this index.css imported. So I'm going to import this bootstrap file as well. So import bootstrap.min.css. And let's go inside of this bootstrap.min.css, and I need to make a one more change inside of this file. So if you press Ctrl F and search A, just like this, in the line 160 you have this A tag. So for the color of this file, I'm going to keep inherit, so that all of our link doesn't have any specific color. And while hovering as well, I'm going to keep it inherit. And also remove this text decoration underline. So these are the few changes that we need to do so that the styling works absolutely fine. And let's close this file. We are done with this file. Now finally, let's go and install React Bootstrap. So I'm going to open another terminal and switch to our front end. Remember, you need to install this in your front end. So just go to your front end and npm install React Bootstrap and press enter. Here we go. React Bootstrap has installed successfully. So let me close this terminal and let's go to our browser into our React Bootstrap documentation, and I'm going to search Navbar. So we have this Navbar component over here, and we have multiple types of Navbar components. So the component that we are going to use is this one. So let's go to our NodeZipper website and see what kind of navbar do we need to make. Here we go. So in our navbar, we have our brand name over here, our search bar over here, and some options at the right. So we can just copy this code up and paste into our VS Code, and we're going to see that this exact same component will be rendered in our application. So we're just going to take all of this code up from over here, and you don't need to think much about this. This is the use of a UI library. So whenever we need to build a component, we just copy it up from over here and modify it according to our need. So let's copy it up and go to our header component and paste it inside of this. So I'm going to paste it over here. So there we go. And now we need to import all of this stuff from all of this component from React Bootstrap. So I'm going to go at the top and import something from React Bootstrap. So let's import it. There we go, navbar, and we need this nav drop down. What else? We have got this button over here, a form control. So what I'm doing over here is I'm pressing Ctrl plus space. So this is giving me all of these suggestions. So as you can see over here, we have imported all of them. Now let's go back and see how does that look. But first, let's restart our server by having npm install, since we have installed a new UI library. Alright, here we go. We have this header component over here. As you can see, it looks a bit different from the component that we see in the documentation. It's because it's taking all of these themes from the Lumen theme that we have installed by copying our bootstrap.min.css file. So now we're going to make some modifications according to our need. So let's go to NodeZipper and we see we need to put this search bar in middle and all of these options at the side. So let's go back to our code. But first of all, we can see over here that it has been pushed to the very side of the screen. But over here we can see we have this space in this navbar. So we are going to use something called a container. So let's go to the docs and search container. And Here we go. We have this container. So what container helps us to do is it helps us to make our page responsive or a component responsive by fitting to according to the screen size. So let me show you. For example, in our app, if we resize it, you're gonna see that the space increases or decreases according to the screen size. So this is what a container helps us to do. Let's go back to our code. And below this, I'm going to add a container and import it from Bootstrap, just like that. So, and put all of this stuff inside of that. Here we go. We have covered all of this stuff by container. Now let's go back. And you can see over here, all of the stuff has been pushed to the very middle. Now we don't need this search button, so I'm gonna go over here and remove this button. And also we need to change the theme a little bit. So background has to be primary color, expand has to be LG, and LG means large, and variant has to be dark. Now let's check it out. Here we go. It looks much closer to our original navbar. Okay, now we're gonna take this form and I'm gonna cut it and paste it inside of our navbar.collapse. So I'm gonna put a nav inside of it, and inside of it I'm going to put this form, and let's save it up. There we go. It's in the middle of both of these. Now we need to push everything. So we need to push these links to the very side at the very right, and this thing at the middle. So for that, we're gonna go to our nav and add a class name of margin auto. So M auto. If you don't know what this stuff is, M auto or MR auto, so these are the classes of Bootstrap. Nothing fancy. You just can go to the React Bootstrap documentation and read about it. And now let's see. There we go. Looks much prettier. But what else we need to do? We need to put all of these links to the very side. So from this nav, I'm going to remove this class of MR auto. So what MR auto was doing is, so MR auto was pushing it to the left side, but since we removed that class, the search bar will push it to the very right side. So here we go. It looks absolutely same like our navbar from our original app. So let's change these options and this brand name. Not zipper. And you can see there's an href over here. So let's put it / over here for now. And we have some links over here. Let's change them according to us. So let's see. We need my notes link and a drop down with my profile and logout. Okay. So we can see we have these 3 links over here. So let me remove one of those links. And in one link, I'm gonna add my notes. And for our drop down, the title will be the name of the user which is logged in. So let's say for now, I'm gonna put my name inside of there. And we have some actions over here. So let me remove all of these actions, and we're just gonna keep one my profile and logout. So my profile and a logout option. There we go. Let's check it out. Great. Much prettier. Now let's build our footer. It doesn't look much good right now. So let's see the original footer in our app. So it's nothing, it's just minimal. It's just copyright message over here and inside of our footer.js. And I'm going to add some footer code over here, a footer tag. And I'm gonna give it some stylings. So what's going on over here is, so width is 100%, position is going to be relative, and since it's going to be at the bottom, so I've put the bottom to be 0, display to be flex, and justify content to be center, so that all of the content that's written inside of it is going to be at the very center. So now inside of this footer, I'm going to import a container, which I already explained to you what container does, and inside of the container I'm going to put a row. So let me explain you what row is. Let me import it, and now let's go back to our React Bootstrap. Now we were seeing this container has some row and column inside of it. So what row helps us to do? Let's take this example. So for example, in the first row we have 2 columns. So in here we have first row and 2 columns, And in the second row, we have 3 columns. So just like that. So this is a very good layout feature of React Bootstrap, so which we are going to use inside of our footer and during some other parts of our project as well. So let me add a column over here and import the column. Okay, it has imported from React Bootstrap. And I'm going to add some class name over here. So class name of text, center, and some padding of y, means up and down padding of 3, and put inside of it a message, copyright node zipper, and save it. Now let's go back and see how does that look. There we go, beautiful. Now we see a message, an error message over here. That button is not defined. Okay, so let's go back to our header and remove this button since we are not using it. Okay, fine. So now let's go and create our landing page, which is this. Let me log out. This is our landing page, our beautiful landing page. So let's just create this landing page. So I'm gonna go back to our app and create a new folder inside of src for screens. So screens. So all of our pages or all of our screens are going to be inside of this folder. So I'm going to create a new folder called landing page. And inside of this landing page folder, I'm going to create a new file called landingpage.js and another file for CSS called landingpage.css. Great. Let's generate our boilerplate code. So RAFCE. Whoops, not inside of the CSS file, my bad. Inside of the JS file, RAFCE, and let's write landing over here. And let's go to our app.js and import it inside of this. So landing page, here we go. Let's check it out. There we go. It's rendered over here. Now I think I should remove this style min height. So I'm gonna just shift this inside of our landing page because it doesn't look good over here much. So I'm gonna name this div some class name of main, and inside of this landing I'm gonna put a container so that it looks beautiful and aligned to the very center, and a row. Okay, now I'm gonna write landing, for example. Let's go back and check. You're gonna see our footer has again sticked to the top. It's because we have removed that styling. So let's get that styling back by writing styles inside of our landing page.css. But first let me import the landing page.css. Okay, now inside of the landing page.css, let me add some stylings. Here we go. Now you can see, so what's happening over here is I'm putting min height of 93 viewport height, some display of flex, align items to be center so that it's in the center from top to bottom, a background image, which I'm going to explain in a minute. Background image position is going to be center and the size is going to be covered, just the basic CSS. So the image that I'm using over here is, you can take this image from my GitHub or you can use your own image. So github.com/piyush-eon, go to repositories. You can find the link to this repository in my description as well, in the video description as well. So I'm going to go to front end inside of src. So here it is, background1.jpg. You can use this file. You can take this image from here and just, you can go over here and download this image from over here and use it in your project as well. Let's go back to the folder. And here, as you can see, I've imported this background1.jpg image. All right, let's save this CSS file and let's check how does our app look right now. There we go. It looks much prettier. Now let's get down to creating our title and our subtitle and these two login and sign up buttons for our app. So inside of this row, I'm going to add a div with the class name of, let's say, intro text. And inside of this, I'm gonna have another div And inside of that, I'm going to have an H1, which will say welcome to Node Zipper, and other P tag, which says one safe place for all your nodes. Great. Now let's style these. So I'm gonna bring in the styles for these. Let's go to our CSS file. And as you can see, the title, these are just minimal styles. The title has a font size of 95 pixels. Subtitle has some font size and padding at the top so that we can create some spacing between title and subtitles. And the overall intro text is going to be having a width of 100% and text is going to be aligned to the very center. So let's save this and have a look. Okay, there's some problem. So I guess we haven't provided the class to our title and subtitle. So let's provide the class name of title and to our P tag as well. Class name of subtitle. Great, let's save it and check it back. There we go. Welcome to Node Zipper, one safe place for all your nodes. Great. Now we're going to provide a button. So we can create another div. It's gonna have class name of button container. And inside of it, I'm gonna have an H tag with href of login /login. And it's gonna say, actually it's gonna have a button inside of it, which will be imported from React Bootstrap. And I'm gonna show you in a minute how does that look. So login, and let's save this. And let's go back to our app and see, there we go. Our login button is over here. Okay, we need to create another button, which will be for our sign up or register. So register. Now I'm going to change a few things for this button. For example, the size is going to be large and the class name is going to be landing button. Both of these classes will be in our register button as well. Here we go. Let's save this up and let's check it out. There we go. But we forgot to change the sign up text. So sign up. Also, we need to change the variant for this button. So we're going to have a different variant for this button. Outline, primary. So you might be wondering from where I'm getting all of these classes, from all of these variants, etc. So you just can go to React Bootstrap's official documentation and you can search button. And you're gonna see you have different types of button, different types of variant. For example, I'm using this variant and this variant. So this is how you can go through the Bootstrap. So there we go. You can see it looks similar to what we have over here. Now we just need to provide some CSS to it and style it. So let me bring in some CSS and add to our landing page and save it up. Let's go back. There we go. Great. As you can see, the text is leaking out of our this notes image. So we need to make it responsive. So let's go back to our CSS and provide some media queries. So first media query will be, so I'm going to type media only screen. And I'm going to provide it for the screens that are bigger than 1200 pixels. So min width 1200 pixels. So all of the screens that are bigger than 1200 pixels, they're gonna have a button container. The button container will have a padding of 0 and 200 pixels. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of these styles too. So this and the title will have padding of 0 and 100 pixels. Alright, so let's just go through them real quick. So for our button container, we are having margin top of 50 pixels to create a space between our subtitles and our buttons, and some basic display flex and justify content space evenly so that we have spaces between our buttons. Just like this. And you can see it looks much pretty now. It looks absolutely like our original app. And for our landing button, for our buttons, we are giving some width of 200 pixels and height of 55 pixels. Now we need to optimize it for smaller screens. So let me go over to the inspect and let's see how does that look. Okay, it doesn't look very good right now. So let me optimize it for our smaller screens too. So here we go. This is the media query that you need to write. So if the max width is 768, that means if the screen size is lesser than 768 pixels, what are you going to do? The title font size is going to be reduced to 60 pixels and the landing button are going to be reduced to width 150 pixels and height of 50 pixels. Let's save it and check it out. There we go. Looks great. Alright, so congratulations, we have created the landing page, the navbar and the footer for our Node Zipper applications. So in our next video, we are going to install React Router and we are going to make this My Notes route work, and we are going to create our My Notes page, this page. We are going to create this notes component which will look like this, just like an accordion. So watch out for our next video. And also if you haven't yet saved our playlist, just go to youtube.com/roadside coder. Click on the playlist tab and go to this playlist and you're gonna find all of the MERN Stack tutorial videos inside of this playlist. And also subscribe to the channel and press on bell icon. It just takes few seconds, but it motivates me to make more such videos for you all. So thank you all for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.